guy in front of me in the Formula 5000 car had a huge spin and spun around the back of a single tree there. So they're obviously obviating that these days with the old guardrail there, but things have certainly changed. And look how Nigel Mansell is suddenly all over his teammate. He goes backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It's hard to think that Nigel Mansell would be allowing Patrese to win his home Grand Prix, especially as Nigel desperately wants to try and set that record for most Grand Prix won in a year, and he's only got 4 left to do it in. You know, he can't really afford to mince around, I wouldn't have thought. He must be having some major problem with the car.
Mansell into the Parabolica. Let's take a look now at our Suzuki mid-race recap. The leader is Riccardo Patrese, 14 of 32 laps out front. Nigel Mansell has fast lap of the race, 1 minute 26.809 seconds. Still not a record. Had 1 lead change. That while Riccardo Patrese got around Nigel. Right now, Michele Alboreto just ahead in the Mugen Honda-powered footwork car. Presently running in 11th spot. So we'll have only 10 cars on the lead lap when the leaders come around.
Gerhard Berger, of course, about to be lapped by this battling duo. And, of course, his own teammate, who's right behind them.
Riccardo Patrese has an interesting and checkered history here at Monza. In one of his first Grand Prix, Riccardo was implicated in a wreck in which Swede Ronnie Peterson was so badly hurt. Mario Andretti went on to win his world championship in that race. Peterson was his Lotus teammate. For a time, Patrese was blamed and shunned by the other Grand Prix drivers who said they didn't want to drive with him, said he was dangerous. The investigation eventually went to court. Patrese was cleared, but in talking with him about it, you can tell that the bitterness still remains. He felt he was very badly treated.
Well, he was badly treated because one of the real ringleaders of the drivers against Patrese was, in fact, a driver who, on studying of film and videotape again and again, was probably more of a culprit than Patrese. And this other driver did, in fact, go on to be world champion one year.
Frank Williams and Bradshaw on the right. Sheridan Finn, the team's commercial director, behind. We'll be back with more live from Italy. Stay with us.
He breaks a tackle at the 5, slides into second, rounds the backstretch, dribbles between the legs, shreds the mogul, catches air, skates past center right, serves an ace, connects.
The Suzuki Dual Sport 350S. The ultimate cross trainer.
And what a ride!
It's tough to concentrate on school when you're worried about paying for it. If the cost of college tuition is on your mind, do what you've always wanted to do. And cash in on the Reserve GI Bill in the Air Force Reserve.
It puts the wind in your sails.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back. Get the guaranteed Splitfire advantage at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
The Suzuki Intruder. She's beautiful, and she cooks.
His partners are doing pretty well. Riccardo Patrese leads his Williams teammate Nigel Mansell, the world champion, and Martin Brundle in 4th leads his Benetton teammate Michael Schumacher. Show you 6th through 10th as well. Terry Boutsen gamely trying to hang on and score a point for Ligier. All the scoring for that team has come at the hands of his young teammate Eric Comas. Comas in his 25th Grand Prix, Terry Boutsen in his 150th. Hard to believe, 10 years of Formula One with just a couple of victories to show for it.
Coming up to lap, in fact, that's Eric Comas in the blue car with the red helmet, about to be disposed of by Riccardo Patrese. Right behind, J.J. Leto there, all locking up that left front again, and Senna, of course, is right behind him. This has somewhat played into Senna's hands, this clutch of traffic that they've all had to go through. These are cars that are battling for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, including, of course, Gerhard Berger, who's had to come up to 9th again from the back. Old Nigel does a bit of whoa, and Comas has Nigel over the curb after lighting up Nigel's tyres. Old Nigel won't be congratulating Comas after the race, and Senna gets through.
Comas raised his right hand saying, oh, pass me on this side, I didn't know you were there.
Senna, that gave Senna a tremendous leg up.
Oh, it sure did. Senna in the red and white McLaren closing up on Mansell, flashing through the left-hand kink and down to what was once called the Curva Bialone before being renamed for the late world champion Alberto Ascari, the last Formula One world champion from Italy back in 1953. Comas has now gone completely backwards in the aforementioned Ascari chicane, much like Riccardo Patrese did while leading this race a year ago. He will climb out. The engine obviously stopped. So the woes of the Ligier team continue, but they still have Terry Boutsen in that 6th and final points-paying position. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, how you doing? People ask me, Dave, how can families eat out when it costs so much? I tell them, bring them to Wendy's. Mom and Dad can choose their meals from our super value menu where everything is just 99 cents each. And there's something special for kids, too. Any kids meal is only $1.99 every day. With prices like these, families can spend more time together and less money.
The 99-cent super value menu and the $1.99 kids meal, only at Wendy's.
This is Middy's at the Omni Newport News, a restaurant where you can enjoy the finest Italian food on the peninsula. This is one of our chefs preparing one of our incredible seafood dishes here at Middy's. And now you can learn how to prepare flounder Italiano, salmon Monte Carlo, veal marsala, and other delicious Middy's favorites. This Wednesday night, have dinner with me, Alex O'Neill, at Middy's in Newport News. Middy's Great Italian Recipes, Wednesday night at 7 on Channel 38.
Remember on ESPN. All in September on ESPN.
On board with Michael Schumacher, racing along right now in 5th position. His teammate Martin Brundle just ahead.
I don't think this is his teammate. That's somebody who's coming up to lap, but his teammate actually is about 23 seconds ahead and seems to be stuck there. Schumacher doesn't seem to be able to make much impression on him. This is one of the... That's Leto, was it?
One of the Dolaros.
One of those Dolaros. Down to the Parabolica.
The attrition has been pretty stiff. 15 cars of the 26 starters remain in the race. 6 of them on the lead lap. At this point, the points earners are Patrese, Mansell, Senna, Brundle, Schumacher, and Boutsen. And J.J. Leto 20 seconds behind Boutsen.
Now in just one lap, these two guys have put that much space between themselves and Ayrton Senna, who had caught right up to them in all that melee in the traffic. But now they've just stepped up to the plate and moved way away again. They obviously got a huge amount in hand. Both these cars doing 26s. Nigel Mansell's just on a 26.3, which is a new lap record. Patrese did 26.9. Senna 27.5. So the Williams cars still very much faster than the opposition. But Nigel Mansell must be having some sort of problem. I can't imagine him willingly giving up a race.
Frank Williams looking on as his boys work out on the track in 1st and 2nd, looking for their 7th of the year. So many records could still fall with Portugal, Japan, and Australia still to come your way here on ESPN. This was the site of the closest finish in Grand Prix history, as 1/100th of a second separated Peter Gethin from Ronnie Peterson back in 1971. I mentioned earlier that Ronnie Peterson was injured in the late 70s wreck at the first corner, in which Ricardo Patrese was implicated by his fellow drivers. Of course, Ronnie Peterson the next day succumbed to his injuries. Mario Andretti says it's the saddest day he's ever experienced in racing. They were very close as Lotus teammates.
That same year, Ronnie Peterson was driving with me in a BMW in the 1,000-kilometer type races, and we were doing the Watkins Glen race. And he said he had been staying with Mario that week down in Nazareth. And he said, "I have never been to a house with so many grown-up toys." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Motorbikes, boats, water skis, everything you think of, they got it." He was a great guy, Ronnie.
Across the start-finish line they come.
Patrese, of course, has got 5 wins out of a cool 230-odd starts. His last win was at Portugal last year. So obviously he'd just love to have a win in front of his home crowd.
Just 2/10 of a second apart. Patrese and Mansell working lap number 41 of 53. The action has stabilized. We'll take a quick timeout and be back for more of the Grand Prix of Italy. Stay right there.
With its drivers and passenger side airbags and automatic seatbelt tensioners, the Acura Legend is more than a luxurious choice. It's also a rather safe one.
Don't wait. Get the News Weekly of Motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
Three races remain as the points battle heats up for the IndyCar Championship. Can anyone catch Bobby Rahal for the lead? Find out at the Pioneer Electronics 200, Sunday afternoon, live on ESPN.
The Suzuki Intruder. She's beautiful, and she cooks.
You're looking live up the back straightaway as you watch the running order. Nigel Mansell, running second in this race, has suffered what appear to be terminal problems. He has dropped back on the back straightaway. Ayrton Senna has gone around him for second place. Nigel very slow up against the right curb. He will no doubt head for the pits.
Well, that elusive 9th win continuing to remain elusive. Nigel Mansell not going to win it today.
A wave to his fans. Andrew Marriott is down there.
Well, he isn't quite here yet. Everyone's at the ready. But yes, now we have Nigel Mansell. And it looks as if he's going to cut the engine. He has cut the engine. And Nigel Mansell, as you say, that 9th win proving elusive. Still sitting in the cockpit of the car at the moment, explaining to the mechanic what the problem is. And he's pointing to the rear of the car.
His engineer, Dave Brown, walked up, spoke on the microphone. Quite evident that Nigel Mansell's race is running. What a weekend he has had. In addition to trying to qualify on the pole, which he did, and win his 9th race of the season, which he will not do, Nigel Mansell has been trying to conduct negotiations in a very tense an intense discussion with Frank Williams. Now, the Williams team has scheduled up a press conference for next Tuesday at their home base in Didcot in England. It's expected there that they will announce what everyone suspects as you watch Nigel getting out from inside the garage, that Prost will drive for them next year. They could announce Ayrton Senna, believe it or not. We will have a chat with Nigel later on. Earlier this year, Frank Williams himself said you cannot have two aces in the team. These drivers are mean. They are self-centered. They have to be. It comes with the territory. He said it does not work, and yet it appears that Frank Williams will try to get two aces in Williams-Renaults for next year. Nigel Mansell mentioned that he was browbeaten by the team into trying to get him to drive for less money this year because Ayrton Senna said he would drive the car for nothing. And that's a man who makes probably on the order of $20 million a year doing this.
Well, when you've been making $20 million a year, you don't have to make money, do you? He just wants wins.
Another quick timeout coming up. We'll be right back.
He breaks a tackle at the 5, slides into second, rounds the backstretch, dribbles between the legs, shreds the moguls, catches air, skates past center right, serves an ace, connects.
The Suzuki Dual Sport 350S, the ultimate cross trainer.
And what a ride!
You start it every morning. Start after start after start. When most of your oil is still down in the pad, you start metal-to-metal contact. You start engine wear. Now help stop it with the latest breakthrough from STP. New engine treatment. It bonds right to engine parts. Independent tests proved it. Just add a quart at your next oil change and help stop engine wear before you start with new STP engine treatment.
No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z.
The Suzuki GS500E. It hustles and still leaves cash in your pocket.
From high above the championship golf course that is as much a part of the Parco de Monza as is the racetrack known as the Autodromo Nazionale. Bob Varsha, David Hobbs, and Andrew Marriott, glad to have you with us on a very hot late summer day here at Monza. Of course, it's always hot at Monza when it's Grand Prix weekend. Riccardo Patrese in the blue and yellow Williams could become the first Italian winner of the Italian Grand Prix since Ludovico Scarfiati back in 1966. Andrew Marriott is standing by in the pit lane.
In sixth gear. Just to repeat that, Nigel Mansell was stuck in sixth gear, and he went on to say, we just missed it unfortunately within the break, that he hopes that Ricciardo wins this. He was praying that he's going to actually finish first, so he really is urging Ricciardo on. We'll try and get Nigel out of the back of the transporter, but that was the problem, gearbox.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Riccardo Patrese has won the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola, but I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you that's not the same thing as winning the Grand Prix of Italy here in Monza.
Nothing beats winning a race here in Monza. I'm amazed, actually, how well the crowd has stayed, considering their beloved Ferraris are out. But, of course, Riccardo Patrese comes very high on the list as well for the Italian crowd. And I'm sure there'll be a great outpouring of emotion, not only here on the track, but in tomorrow morning's paper. There's some great sports papers here in Italy, and they'll be just full of today's race.
10 laps to go next time around for this man, Riccardo Patrese. Ayrton Senna runs 6.6 seconds behind in second. I beg your pardon.
I'll tell you what, I don't want to put a hex on anybody, but the Williams team always seem to run in lockstep. And if you notice this year in Canada, when Nigel crashed out, Patrese went out, always seems to run in tandem. Obviously, let's hope today it does not.
Where's my arithmetic going? Coming around to complete lap 46 with 7 to go, Riccardo Patrese, that last lap at 1 minute 26.224 seconds. Very close to the new lap record set by Nigel Mansell.
Senna appears to have settled for second, lapping in the 28th now, as is his teammate Gerhard Berger, right behind him on the road, but one lap down. Gerhard Berger's had a pretty eventful afternoon. Started dead last, having his car pushed off the grid. Did, 5 or 6 laps, came in, changed the tyres, went out again, dropping back to nearly dead last. And here he is running in 5th spot, picking up 2 points for the afternoon. He's had a pretty exciting day, afternoon's racing here.
There are winners and losers. One of the losers right now, Terry Boutsen, who dropped out of the top 6 just a couple of laps ago. Another bad break for the Ligier team. Meanwhile, Michael Schumacher, the winner 2 weeks ago in Belgium, with an engine that we thought at the beginning of this race would never run the distance, worked his way up into 4th spot behind Patrese, Senna, and Brundle.
I think if Schumacher too made a stop very early on, if he hadn't made that stop, I think he'd be right up now with Senna. He's made a little bit of ground on his teammate Brundle, but not very much.
Schumacher 2 weeks ago became the 3rd youngest man to win a Grand Prix race. The youngest, of course, Bruce McLaren, back at Sebring, the U.S. Grand Prix in 1959, was 22 years old. Jackie Ickx won a Grand Prix. Ickx, of course, from Belgium, at age 23 years, 7 months. And 2 weeks ago, 23 years and 8 months old, Michael Schumacher won his first race. With a definitely off song, but apparently healthy Ford V8 behind his neck, Michael Schumacher. Stay with us.
Last year, Michael Andretti added something new to his car. It wasn't more engine displacement or bigger wings. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy straight off the shelf to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Michael the energy to sweep the IndyCar Championship last year, but we're not saying it wasn't.
It has a dual overhead camshaft design. 4 valves per cylinder. And a responsive double wishbone suspension. The Acura Integra. An idea that began with a Formula One race car and has been evolving ever since.
Shape up with ESPN's midday workout. First at 11, Body by Jake gets your engine started with a workout and great health and fitness information. Keep on going at 11:30 with a well-rounded routine on getting fit with Denise Austin. You'll keep on moving at noon with aerobic exercise on Bodies in Motion. And then at 12:30, Body Shaping helps you tone up and slim down. It's better to look good and feel good on ESPN's midday workout.
Of course, we're always in commercial.
Back live, you're watching videotape of something happened moments ago. There is Riccardo Patrese flashing up from behind Ayrton Senna in the McLaren Honda. Patrese weaving back and forth, slowing with obvious problems, and Senna, as improbable as it may seem, comes around to take the lead.
Guarantee it wasn't my fault. I did say I wasn't going to put a hex on them, but I just can't believe that.
There's Maurizio Gugelmin being pushed off in the Jordan with Yamaha power, or a lack of it, to hear the Jordan drivers talk about it.
Yes, the engine does not seem to have much grunt, and here is one of the Benettons being closely followed by Alboreto, which there's JJ Leto pulling off the track as well, or yep, pulling off the track.
Oh my, we have 4 laps to go.
And about 4 cars left at this rate.
Senna, Patrese, Brundle was now up into 2nd, Schumacher into 3rd, Berger into 4th. Berger started dead last in this field, and he is a lap down. But he is 4th, and that's all that matters. Ayrton Senna, who lost this race 3 years ago in a heartbreaking engine explosion with just a couple of laps remaining, it appears has snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. What a weekend for the Williams team. Nigel Mansell, after negotiations broke down toward his 1993 contract, announced that he will retire from Formula One at the end of the year. Riccardo Patrese took over, hoping to become the first Italian to win his home Grand Prix since 1966, and he is out.
I think we've got more drama to come. That Benetton we saw going slowly, I have a horrible feeling, is Martin Brundle, because suddenly Riccardo Patrese is only 11 seconds behind him, and Schumacher's just behind him. So that means he's 11 seconds or thereabouts behind Brundle. He was 21 going into the last lap. So let's keep our fingers crossed for poor old Martin Brundle, who's had a bit of a star-crossed year. And at the moment, is one of the drivers like Ivan Capelli, who doesn't have a drive anywhere lined up, as we know.
Hold the phone. 3 laps to go. Senna in the lead. And the second-place car has yet to cross the start-finish line as Senna launches through the Curva Grande.
Is it going to be Brundle or Schumacher? Berger crosses the line in 5th spot. Brundle, no, it's still the same.
Our picture's coming to us from Italian television, so we can't always go point out the cars we'd like to. Senna with his teammate just behind, although Berger is a lap down. Brundle was running in second place. That was his best placement ever in a Grand Prix. He did finish second in a Grand Prix at Detroit once for the Tyrrell team, but his car was disqualified from that race.
I think Brundle must have had some sort of momentary problem there, because Schumacher's now only 12 seconds behind him, and it may be that Brundle is just settling for a good solid second here.
After 2 third places, he'd love to have it. Senna going, well, basically on cruise control, it would appear. Doesn't look to be fast, but his last lap was 1:28. That's pretty much in line with what we've been seeing. Through the Parabolica.
2 laps to go as he crosses the line.
There's Patrese now, showering sparks. That was a bit unusual. With that ride height control, you'd think he wouldn't be sparking at this point.
Well, unless he's picked up speed again, because the sparks usually come when they pick up speed. The downforce picks up and pushes the car down to the road. The titanium skid plates touch the road, just kiss the road surface, and of course make all those sparks. So Patrese may have picked up speed. He may have had some electronic gremlins go wrong with his car, which is obviously what happened to his teammate Nigel Mansell. Nigel was obviously having a problem with his gearbox, which is why he was going inconsistently up and down. Berger goes around Senna. Has Senna got a problem?
Or is Senna letting his teammate unlap himself? That will put Berger in 4th place, 5th place, make that, and on the lead lap. Now here comes the Benetton of Martin Brundle.
It's creepy. Is Brundle going to win his first Grand Prix?
As you said earlier, we won't know until the checkered flag. There'll be 1 lap to go next time around for Ayrton Senna. And I think he was just letting Berger go by. What a day Berger's had, from dead last on the field. He didn't even have a race car when the rest of the field took off. Got into Senna's backup, and away he went.
If Berger maintains his pace, he could just, in fact, wind in Patrese, who's lying 4th, which is probably why Senna let him get through.
Last lap about to begin for Ayrton Senna. It is Senna, Brundle, 23 seconds down, but we're just about to see Brundle cross the start-finish line. We'll see what the new interval is. Schumacher runs 3rd, Patrese 4th, Gerhard Berger 5th, and Andrea De Cesaris in 6th, now 1 lap down. De Cesaris, who has been 7th 5 times this year, definitely driving with fingers crossed.
I just think they all are.
Right.
I've got my fingers crossed in case lightning strikes his boot.
I'm not saying anything. I've already jinxed Patrese.
Yeah, I'll blame you. Schumacher now 10 seconds behind his teammate Brundle, with just 1 lap to go. I'd say Brundle is definitely settling for a solid second spot.
Last year, Ayrton Senna pointed out that this was the track he always wanted to win on, and he won back in 1990. Should he win again now, and he is within 3/4 of a mile of the finish line, will become the first repeat winner since Nelson Piquet in 1986 and 87. The McLaren team is on the wall with their Honda engineers, and there are heavy hearts in that garage this weekend as well, now that Honda has confirmed they will not come back as a factory effort in Formula One next year. Ron Dennis, the team manager, looking for his man to come off the corner. And there is Senna with his hand in the air, relieved as much as he is jubilant, no doubt, as a course worker waves the Brazilian flag. The checkered flag is out for Senna, and he will not make a victory lap, it would appear. I suppose he doesn't want to push his luck.
Well, Michael Andretti might be watching this in the States thinking, well, maybe I didn't make such a bad choice of team after all. But of course, he won't have that Honda power. It's still a guess to us and everybody else. Maybe Michael knows just what engine he will be using next year.
There's Ricardo Patrese with a mysterious problem. Ukyo Katayama just got out of one of the machines.
Another incredible day for the Benettons. Brundle second, Schumacher third.
Watching Gerhard Berger circle around to claim fifth place.
I guess he's going to claim fourth. I think he's passed Ricardo Patrese on that last lap.
I think you're right. There he is. There's Patrese.
Yeah, so it looks like Berger's going to be fourth.
The running order will change right down to the line. And let me correct myself. Alain Prost won this race in 1989. He is the most recent repeat winner, 85 and 89 for Prost, as well as way back in 1981, one of Alain's earliest drives. He is working here for French television, and he is looking forward to getting into a Williams-Renault next year and adding to his record total of 44 Grand Prix victories. There's Ricardo Patrese, who will finish a very disappointed fifth in front of his home fans. There is Senna waving the Brazilian flag. I guess he will get a victory lap in after all.
Well, McLaren again, McLaren Honda having a staggering afternoon. First and fourth, having had Berger's car pushed off the grid, stopped early on for obviously what was something wrong with the tires. So a great day for them, and of course a terrific day for Benetton.
Down to the pits and Andrew Marriott.
Ron Dennis wins come in all kinds of varieties, but they're still good, aren't they?
That's right. We're here to win the race. And of course, it's nicer to win a race in a straight fight, but we've had our share of unreliability this year, and so maybe it's balances the odds a little.
I think a win like that must make Michael Andretti feel pretty happy too.
Well, even without the problems of Williams, I think we've closed the gap considerably, and maybe by the end of the season we can win a race clean and fair.
Ron, thanks very much. Ron was asking where Michael had qualified over in America. I'm afraid we can't tell him.
Well, we can tell him, Andrew, and I hope you will for us. Michael is on the pole for the Pioneer Electronics 200 coming up later today here on ESPN in the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Turned over to the IndyCars today. Should be a great race. That is a tremendous battle for the IndyCar Championship. Michael closing in on Bobby Rahal, Al Unser Jr., and Emerson Fittipaldi right there as well.
With more power and torque than any other truck in its class, it's easy to understand how a 93 Nissan 4x2 could get past you. Now it's loaded with a special option package, including a cassette stereo, bed liner, sliding rear window, plus chrome wheels and bumpers, all at no extra charge. And if you let a deal like this get past you, it's not understandable, it's unforgivable. The 93 Nissan pickup now with $1,100 in savings for a limited time at your Nissan dealer.
Hi, how you doing? People ask me, Dave, how can families eat out when it costs so much? I tell them, bring them to Wendy's. Mom and Dad can choose their meals from our super value menu, where everything is just 99 cents each. And there's something special for kids, too. Any kids meal is only $1.99 every day. With prices like these, families can spend more time together and less money.
The 99-cent super value menu and the $1.99 kids meal, only at Wendy's.
Practical Jokes on the Pros, a home video featuring sports stars that you'll watch over and over again. It's hilarious.
Looking down at Parc Fermé as the cars that managed to finish the 53 laps of the 63rd Grand Prix of Italy This race a staple of the Formula One Grand Prix series before the World Championship was formally introduced back in 1950. There are your results. The survivors: Senna, his 36th Grand Prix win over Martin Brundle, a very happy second-place finisher for the Benetton team, his best performance ever. Michael Schumacher, third, adding to his podium and points totals. Gerhard Berger, fourth, from dead last in this field. Ricardo Patrese, who led so much of it, only to watch his teammate Nigel Mansell fall out and then suffer problems himself, finishing fifth, followed by Andrea De Cesaris, another big boost for this Italian crowd, a point for Andrea. Seventh, Michele Alboreto for the sixth time this year. Absolutely phenomenal season Michele is having. In the eighth spot, Pierluigi Martini finishing ninth. Ukio Katayama followed by Carl Wendlinger. And we had cars littered all the way around the 3.6 mile length of the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza.
So 4 of the 8 Italian starters finishing in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th spots. That wasn't such a bad day for Italy as well. Of course, obviously the Benetton cars, Italian sponsored, coming 2nd and 3rd. So good day for Italy today here in Monza.
As is traditional, they let the crowd onto the racetrack here in Monza. And they will pour onto the front straightaway in front of the podium, where Ayrton Senna, Martin Brundle, and Michael Schumacher will take their positions. When Senna went around Patrese just a few laps ago, a big cheer arose from the crowd. He is very popular here, even though he was passing one of their own. And as you mentioned, David, certainly having those 2 Italian Benettons in 2nd and 3rd won't hurt one little bit. As we mentioned, we hope to hear from Nigel Mansell, whose retirement announcement from Formula One shocked this community this morning. Certainly the most popular driver in Grand Prix racing, saying that he has been badly treated by the Williams team. He says that, among other things, they have cut their deal with Frenchman Alain Prost. They did it a long time ago. They offered him less money this year, but the money, says Nigel, is not as important as the treatment that he felt should be accorded an incumbent member of the team and the reigning world champion to boot. There's a look at the crowd. That's the view that Ayrton Senna will have to celebrate his 36th victory. And we'll be back to bring it to you when we return live to Italy.
There's a lake where the fish are bigger than the tales fishermen tell, where the deer and the antelope do more than roam. They rule. And a place that gives new meaning to the phrase sitting duck. Now you can discover all these places for yourself on the Suzuki King Quad with 2-wheel, 4-wheel, and 4-wheel drive with front differential lock. After all, when you're hunting bear, you can't afford to get stuck in his tracks.
In the world of luxury automobiles, you expect aerodynamic styling. A beautifully crafted, leather-trimmed interior, the uncompromising safety of driver's and passenger side airbags, and the superior performance of a 24-valve engine. You just don't expect it to be so affordable. The Acura Luxury Lease Program. It's more than a lease. It's a legend.
Introducing the Bud Light Jaguar Racing Team. Catch it this season.
Let's go. We're all revved up and ready to go.
How do we get the truck back?
Throw it in reverse.
Let's go.
On the podium here at historic Monza, Ayrton Senna, his 36th win, his second here at the track for the longest time. Would not be beaten by the incredible driving skills of this 3-time world champion. Today he drives for McLaren, the team that has dominated this sport for the last half-decade or so before the rise of the Williams-Renault team. Senna says he will leave McLaren next year if they are not going to be as competitive as he wants to be. He says, I will not risk my life to finish third. I want a winning car. Apparently, if he cannot get into the Williams team next year, Senna will stay home.
Well, So he says, but the fact remains that he's had 3 wins this year, so can't be that bad a car, I suppose. This also pops him up into equal 3rd in the championship with Riccardo Patrese, and 2nd in the championship now, I make, as old Michael Schumacher, which is not a bad first year, I suppose.
There is Senna. To his left is Schumacher, the 3rd place finisher. To his right is Martin Brundle. Certainly very happy to be up there. Schumacher,
I bet he is.
If you look at Brundle, Schumacher, this is the 1st anniversary of his arrival at the Benetton team. Remember last year, he started in Belgium with the Jordan squad, stunned everybody by making the grid, although he wasn't able to actually run the race when the car broke on the starting grid. He disappeared back to Germany. We all went home. We all convened here at Monza. Bingo. There was Michael Schumacher in Benetton colors. Nobody was more shocked than the man he replaced, Roberto Moreno.
Who, of course, had come 4th the week before in Spa. No mean achievement on its own. How about that crowd about to get very wet? I don't think they care about that too much. Michael Schumacher, one of those guys that really just looks like he enjoys it. That is the one breath of fresh air in this series, is Michael Schumacher. When he won last week or 2 weeks ago, I mean, boy, he just really looked like he enjoyed it. Most of these other guys look so po-faced about it. I suppose Senna is smiling now. Nervous officials at the back there, grinning. There he is. Brundle putting champagne to its proper use, getting it down his throat.
Michael Schumacher, in his first full season, getting quite used to standing up there on the podium. We'll be back to hear Nigel Mansell's retirement announcement. Stay with us. For the 43rd year of the modern era, the Italian round of the World Driving Championship is drawing to a close. It's nearly time to bid arrivederci to Monza. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Formula One Grand Prix of Italy has been brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By Suzuki. Your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further, because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
Watch out, Lovejoy!
Each airplane had its own distinct personality. Usually it was temperamental.
Watch Fall Premiere Week on A&E. It'll be back. A&E, making TV special.
The engineering philosophy we developed here went here. And the VTEC engine technology that was used here, we placed here. Introducing the Acura Integra GSR. A powerful argument for the trickle-down theory.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further, because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
Lane, where Ayrton Senna celebrates his 36th Grand Prix victory. That will be one headline for the day. The other, Nigel Mansell's retirement announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody, this is a press statement from myself, Monza, September the 13th, 92. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I have decided to retire from Formula One at the end of this season. I have made this decision with some regret and some pause, as you've just noticed with the information I've just received, but not without a great deal of thought. Any relationship between a driver and a Formula One team is vital for success and partly dependent on money. because it defines how seriously the team and its backers take the driver. For those who know me well, understand the importance of the human side and the mutual trust and goodwill and integrity and fair play that are the basis of all human relationships. All these issues, unfortunately, have suffered in recent weeks. Looking back, I feel that the relationships between me and the Calvin Williams Renault team started to break down in Hungary. A deal was agreed with Frank before that race in front of a witness, and I have to say that at that time I felt very good about racing again in 1993. Having won the championship, I was looking forward to defending the title with what I believe to be a very competitive car. However, 3 days after Hungary, I was telephoned by a Williams director who said that he'd been instructed to tell me that because Senna would drive for nothing, I, the new world champion, had to accept a massive reduction in remuneration from the figure agreed in Hungary, considerably less than I am receiving this year. And if I did not, then Senna was ready to sign that night. I rejected this offer and said that if these were the terms, Williams had better go and sign Senna. Since then, it's fair to say that relationships with the team have not been good, and I refer here to the directors rather than the scores of people behind the scenes at Williams. I have listened to many different opinions, some well-meaning and some not. And we've heard the public statements made. I prefer this to be private and not to go out on the circuit, so unless that's stopped immediately, then I'll stop. And we have heard public statements made by Senna in Belgium. To say that I have been badly treated, I think, is a gross understatement. Of course, a team owner, any team owner, is free to choose whomever he likes to work for him. It's the lack of information and the sudden changes that I have found disappointing. It is difficult to put into words the sort of commitment you have to make in order to succeed in Formula One. I'm aware of the criticisms made of my approach to racing, but I am the way I am because I believe in total sacrifice, a total ability to withstand pain, and a total belief in myself and my ability. To have the motivation to win a world championship, you must in turn have those commitments back from the team. When I returned from Ferrari, I did so with the belief that I had the motivation and the team had the commitment. I don't think that I was wrong. Now things are different. I no longer feel, so far as I am concerned, that the commitment from the team towards me for next year is there. There are many reasons for this, and I have tried to give some idea of how I feel. Other people will no doubt draw their own conclusions. For one thing is clear, that Alan Prost has been committed for the team for months to drive for Williams. For another, I thought I had a deal when clearly I did not. Needless to say, I do not understand why these things have happened. Yes, in recent weeks, various key people have tried to smooth things over, and I respect that, and I thank them for their time. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things have just happened here while I've been sitting in front of you. But now I realise that it's all too late. To my mind, it comes down to fair play, or the lack of it. Money, a trigger for the problems after Hungary, is now no longer an issue for me. And just so you know, because I want you to know everything, I was just told and whispered that everything's agreed, just as I was sitting here before you now. So, money is not the motivating thing for me, and never has been in my Formula One career. And I was just told then that it was all agreed. As you can see, I've sat here and I've continued with this statement. But I want to say this, that in finishing, I'd like to say the most sincerest, sorry, I'll start again. when his camera stopped zinging along. Hope it's a Canon. In finishing, I'd like to say in the most sincerest of ways that I will always be grateful to the Williams team and to Renault for the support that they have given me, and hopefully will still give me in 1992. I want to win or try and win all the remaining races, and I'm sure that their FW15, from what I know about it already, will do the job in 1993. As for myself, I know that I'm not yet ready to retire, perhaps completely. I still love my motor racing. I still want to win. So I may look at the IndyCar World Series and see what opportunities are available, if any. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, this statement expresses all that I will say on this matter at the moment, so no one should expect any additional comments. Now, I just want to say a few more things before anyone tries to say anything to me, and that is, there is no disagreement between any of me and the sponsors. Frank Williams and I spoke just minutes before coming here. I publicly congratulate him for his team and his achievements this year. I congratulate and thank Renault and all the associated sponsors. We have not, have not fallen out. It wasn't a question of finance. I think I've demonstrated that here in front of you, which was difficult, but I didn't think too long about it. And now I ask you one thing and one thing only, that we're here to do a job today to try and win the Grand Prix. I've had this press conference now, so I can hopefully go into the race with a clear mind. And I have to say that now I'm relieved, and I wish to enjoy my racing for the rest of the year and then retire from Formula One. There is one copy of this statement that I'll leave, and hopefully Anne Bradshaw or somebody from the Williams team is here, and you can run the copies off. I thank you for your time, I thank you for your patience, because I know it's been difficult for you too. But please, don't bother me now. It's race day. I'm here to do a job to try and win. I've said what I've said. I think it's very clear, and there's no problems between me or the team or anything, and I wish them all the success they can have in the future. Thank you.
When we came to Monza, we expected drama, we expected excitement, but I don't think we expected all that we would get at today's Grand Prix of Italy. The points, Nigel Mansell, the world champion, but Schumacher and Senna bumped Patrese from second to fourth. In the Constructors' Championship, Williams, our champion, Benetton, McLaren, and Ferrari follow. Don't forget, coming up later today, the Pioneer Electronics 200, the Indy cars from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific here on ESPN. Our next event will be the Grand Prix of Portugal, coming your way Monday. Make that Monday, September 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Checkered flag coverage of our race today will be coming to you Sunday, September 20th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm Bob Barsha for David and Andrew. Ciao from Monza.
Welcome back to Stateside, and welcome to an abbreviated edition of Sports Weekly. I'm Charlie Steiner, and it's the second Sunday of the NFL season, the final Sunday of the U.S. Open. And before we look ahead, let's look back a little bit at yesterday's action that you may have missed, beginning with the U.S. Open and the women's final at Flushing Meadow, where Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario was 1-10 lifetime against Monica Seles, making it 1-11. Seles jumped out to a 5-love lead in the first set, winning the first set 6-3. This would be the second match point. Monica Seles now 7-1 lifetime in Grand Slam finals, winning it cross court. Earlier in the day, Michael Chang and Stefan Edberg in an epic 5-set, 5.5-hour battle. Chang serving in the far court. Edberg on the attack as he was all day. and a noogie for good measure. While Edberg served 18 double faults, his ground strokes were sharp. Edberg won the longest open match since the advent of the tiebreaker. Under the lights, top-seeded Jim Courier, 1-5, lifetime against Pete Sampras. Sampras covered the net like a blanket, cutting off all the angles, and then hitting the overhead winner. In the fourth set, Sampras serving on match point. Sampras couldn't wait to get off, literally sick to his stomach. He stayed in the referee's room for 3 hours and stumbled home late at night. To baseball, where the hottest race in the American League East, Devon White's bases clearing double in the second inning sparked the Blue Jays to a 4-2 win.